Hello and welcome back to Spain. Well, last time didn't really happen much. We did some teching up, especially in military department, got some new units. But other than that, we also declared war on Gujarat here with the goal of taking 2 or 3 provinces, depending on how much they'll cost me over extension wise. And apparently the best combination here is probably those two, as it seems. So I'll probably take these two, and then this one sometime else, or basically take these two, sell them off, and then sell that one later. That could also be that could also work out just good. But there are some things that needs to be done first, and among them is putting these guys as a rival for cheaper purchase, I guess I could say, of the provinces. But that doesn't really matter right now. We'll also war with Poland, Tuscany, and Hungary, defense of the empire. Weirdly enough, apparently it seems because of the Poles became war leader. That is basically the reason why I was called in, I will believe at least. So what we will be doing here is helping Mr. Popey here with his customers. We'll basically be taking out the Tuscan army and thus helping the Pope and getting some sort of retribution. Although I should probably have left them alone, considering the fact that, well, they are part of the Holy Roman Empire, so I guess I'll leave them alone for now. But yeah, I kind of know that didn't actually get me any bonus points with the Pope here, that I lifted a siege on this province. Apparently we have some rebels in Kandesh here, so I'll have to deal with them. And well, other than that, not really that much will be happening. I'll go ahead and try and deal with the Poles here, and then we'll see how everything turns out. I've taken another level here of quality ideas, have a ship compatibility plus 10%, and we can also do a boosting of the diplomatic technology to basically the same level as level 19, the same as the military tech. This gives me some new galleons, some new frigates, and I can now build the Admiralty, which I basically will be doing straight away now, I think. The Admiralty is basically, as I said, the same as the War College, except you get a boost to your fleet guys, more or less, and that is pretty sweet as well. As you can see, the siege of Parma is almost done, and I'm pretty sure that once that siege is actually over with, we are basically set to start causing some issues. I'm a little bit unsure why the Bavarian armies actually decided. Oh, I guess that's why decided to march up to the Poles here, but that doesn't actually pose a problem for me at all. Because even if these guys do attack me like they did here, my armies are so much better than them, they'll basically be a slaughter. So we'll follow them and try and destroy them in Lombardia, I guess. But as you might imagine, every victory here does help to the, well, complete annihilation of our enemy, so it's not really a problem. Parma has also been sieged, so that is quite nice. And other than that, not really that much to do now, except to wait for basically the Poles giving up here. It shouldn't take that long, because I basically need Mantua to make the peace, because of the fact that well, there's no real reason for me to continue a war that's virtually over. So I guess I'll send these guys to try and get rid of the Poles here, simply hurt their armies, might even go and siege their capital. We'll basically be hurting them as we can, and I'm also decided to declare a war on Berar here, and that is one purpose and one purpose only. By taking their lands, I will be able to take twice the amount every time I'm at war, and by doing that I will be able to basically take India faster, and I'll get 2 huge vassals in the area, but I can live with that. I'll probably also, as I said, go ahead and forcefully vassalize Baluchistan and start eating pieces and bits of Persia with them. It seems there are, let's see here, Baluchistan actually has a bunch of cores on the Persian lands, or 3 that is, so I can take 5 provinces in my first war. They're allied with the Mamluks, which to me ain't really that bad, because I will definitely be getting into war with Morocco soon, and thus the Mamluks will most likely be dragged in, I guess, once I actually have vassalized Tunisia. So on that note, it's not really that bad. It's actually, how should I put it, good business to get into war with them. So there's a lot of war planning right now, and there's a lot of other, well, tempting things to do. So for the time being, I'll just be dealing with Poland, vassalizing Berar, and other than that, I'll probably not do too much. I'll get those wars done, then we'll declare war on Morocco and Baluchistan. So we'll see how it all turns out. As you can see, we're basically done here with the war with Berar. I'll simply straight out vassalize them, as the plan was, and I'll be moving these guys basically now to prepare for war against Sind, because Sind is actually a Shia province, and thus I can simply hand it over to Baluchistan without too much fuss, and that is also quite good. And if we also take a quick look here on where else the Baluchistani has a core, this is one of them. So I'll be fighting a war against Afghanistan simply to take this one, and probably not too much else at the moment, but we'll have to see. Might actually end up vassalizing Afghanistan a little bit further down the line. Now that since I've actually taken Berar, it's actually quite tempting to go north and try and take these provinces before they are converted, and that could basically be a smart thing to do. And also Malva, I don't actually want to go off them because they have sunny provinces for the time being, so but taking at least this Hindu province is probably good business. But other than that, I'm a little bit unsure what to actually do with them. Might actually try and release Meva, for example, and well, probably forcefully release in this case, so that I can vassalize further down the line. We'll have to see what I actually end up with, but for the time being, we'll try and get the Poland done. I'm a little bit unsure when Mantua will actually get the peace deal here. They might actually, the deal was to take Parma, but Mantua doesn't actually have any troops on their own, so I'm a little bit unsure what they actually, what their game is here. And I might actually have to make. They actually have 10k troops here, so yeah, I might actually have to make or force forth a peace some way or another. We'll have to see. Mantua actually made a peace deal, and apparently I didn't actually get a say in it, which is kind of annoying, but I guess I'll have to live with it. Unfortunately, I did not get any extra, well, how should I put this, boons from it, or Imperial Authority in this case. But, so apparently it seems that if you actually want to try and get something like that, you have to make the peace deal yourself. But that doesn't really matter at this point, because, well, peace has been made, and I can't really whine too much about that. Everything has been, or everyone is happy, as it were. So yeah, I'm really tempted to go for this deal. It's 100%, which is quite a lot, really. So what I really might actually go for here is taking, let's see, that one. Well, just this is potentially what I will be getting. Just 3 provinces, but it doesn't matter because I'll be able to sell it all off, I think. Yeah, that one's 20, that was a 20, this one is a 24. Yeah, 24, at 24%, that's where the limit goes. So we'll be taking these provinces basically, and that should help out quite a bit. Afghanistan entered, Venice, Malva. So people in the area are starting to get wary of me more or less, and they don't want to. They don't like me more or less. Let's see how much. Yeah, I have 153 aggressive expansion thus far, and I'll definitely be getting a lot more. But at least if there is a coalition in this area, how the hell are you guys at war? You are a vassal of mine. You are not allowed to be at war. Seriously. But yeah, I've also taken this one. That is because of the fact that I can't actually declare war on Baluchistan. I actually need a casus belli. So I'm currently fabricating a claim. That should help, but for the time being, I'll just be focusing on selling my Baluchistan anti-military coalition against us. Not good, but I can live with that. It means that I can potentially break up some countries a little bit, hopefully at least. And I'll also go ahead and sell this one before I forget about it. But yeah, I'll have to wait until they are out of the war, so that's fine. But as you can see here, my diplomats use ages to simply walk the way home. So that's kind of bad. But since I do have the superior troops in this area, having a coalition that solely is of the Indian states here doesn't actually pose a threat to me. It simply means that every time I get into war with one of them, I'll have to fight all of them. And to be honest, that's not that well, bad, horrible. Call it whatever you want. It's basically not that a terrible situation. Oman's allies here, or no, Baluchistan's allies are Oman, Chagatai, and Malva. So I think definitely Malva will end up being in charge of this war. I have no idea. Yeah, Chagatai ain't that great, so it should definitely be Malva, and thus I should actually be able to deal with them with these 10,000 men. But since I'm currently at this, we can lower army maintenance a little bit, save up a little bit more cash until the time when I actually get into a big war. And I'll also go ahead and snatch this 20,000 man army down to Morocco, and we'll probably start a war in this area as well. Dump some troops in Tunis also to help myself more or less, and I'll probably also have to try and renew my navy pretty soon, because as you know, I do have new, better, stronger, whatever you want to call it, units. So I guess I should do some renewals of my navy, but it will definitely be goddamn expensive, to be honest. So it will take a while until I've actually been able to pull it off. So I'll do it slowly but surely, I guess I could say. Probably have some help with enemies sinking my ships. And as you can see, there aren't actually any other presence in this area, so I don't actually have to focus on colonizing in the east. I can simply take my time, do some colonizations in America, and thus it shouldn't be that much of a problem. You can also see here I can have 5 leaders now, mostly due to the 2 new due to the War College, 1 to the Emperor and 1 to the Courier. So with that amount of generals, I shouldn't have any problems at putting a general on each of my units during a war. But I will be basically slowing down on the leaders due to the fact that I need military power for 2 reasons now. First of all, to finish up this tree here. Secondly, for technology. So I definitely need to save up that little administrative power now. Get the religious idea tree. And once I have that, I'll basically be able to do quite a lot more of warfare. So yeah, religious ideas is definitely next. But as I said, for the time being, not really that much else I can do than wait for this claim to finish. But in the meantime, I will be using 2 of my diplomats for the purpose of making these guys like me more. As you see, aggressive expansion is actually hurting Berar quite a bit, due to the fact that they became a vassal only after me taking a lot of provinces. So that I can live with. But for now, we'll be going up in a coalition war. As you can see here, Vinagya, Afghanistan, Baluchistan, Gujarat and Madurai will be dragged into this war. As I said, I can live with that, so it shouldn't be an issue. I can also go after Bundelkhand due to the fact that they are not in coalition yet. So I'll most likely take them simply due to the fact that I can hand them over to Berar here. So that should work out just fine as well. But for the time being, the goal of this war is to vassalize Baluchistan. And I'll most likely also be able to siege most of Vinagya, so that shouldn't actually be a worry or something to worry about either. And I think I could up my maintenance just a little bit, shouldn't be that much of a problem. And I'll also go ahead and build another army to have in the area more or less. It'll take forever, but I can live with that. We'll be doing sieging here, and otherwise we'll just try to get what we want out of this. I'm a little bit unsure what I can actually take in these wars, so it'll be an experiment on that as well. Apparently this army, or the Afghanistan army, just hit about the same time that I won that battle, and thus it was thwarted or sent away, whichever you want to call it. So for the time being, I think I'll keep my armies mostly in or united, as it were. As you can see, Flanders also entered a civil war. But apparently the Afghanistan armies aren't that weak, so it could potentially pose a threat for my armies up here. But we did win that one, and we'll most likely keep most of our enemies in check, and basically here take what we want. So we'll see how it turns out. I'll show you the most interesting battles if there actually are any, and other than that, we'll just be giving the enemy a hard time competing with us, I guess. So we'll see how it turns out. As you can see, we completely eradicated the enemy army, and apparently it seems that either Vinagya or someone here does have some pretty decent military tech, if not for, no, not that good of a general. So there's definitely some decent military tech out or in the game here. So we'll see how that turns out. But for the time being, I'll be focusing on trying to siege the entirety of Baluchistan, and other than that, we probably will not be doing too much. We'll see how it goes. A personal union. My king, we have formed a personal union with Cologne. They have sworn a complete allegiance to us, allowing us to rule our nations as one. Only good can come out of this. Our 2 nations will now be ruled by our glorious king. Well, this is kind of interesting, but it also poses kind of a problem, I guess. No, it doesn't actually. Now I have control over 4 electors to some extent. I'm pretty sure I can actually to some extent control Mantua if I actually try to, so that's not a problem. What I will be doing here is moving another 20k men to India, because of the fact that the people over there turn out to be more resilient than I thought. So instead of training 20k men there, I will simply be doing another thing, and that is moving 20k men to Baluchistan, and I'll probably be using these guys to siege as well. So that shouldn't be a problem. And other than that, we'll most likely just have to continue fighting, and not much else to say really. But I guess we are to some extent out of time now, and I'll have to, I guess, continue next time. Also, apparently, it seems that my armies are currently in the process of being hunted down, so we'll be moving our troops to support them and see how that turns out. But for the time being, I'll simply have to continue fighting, and hopefully we can get what I want here, which is Baluchistan, and then we'll fight Persia and Afghanistan. Try and hand over some lands to them. I'm a little bit unsure. Baluchi, I have no idea if they'll actually accept some of these other. Let's see, Baluchi is in the. I like to know what culture this is in, and to do that we take up the culture map, and Baluchi is apparently Khorasan is accepted, so I can probably hand over most of the lands here, and apparently Kandahar is become the capital of Afghanistan, so I actually have to take Ghazni and Ghul and some of it to actually hand over to just be able to actually make it work. So we'll see how that turns out. But for the time being, I'll be focusing on this war in India. We'll focus on that next time. But unfortunately, it doesn't look too well. I underestimate the amount of forces they'll actually put up. As you can see, it's actually over 100,000 just by actually. And well, we should be able to beat that back. Wow, I really have the hiccups today. We definitely should be able to beat that back. But as things are standing now, we are a little bit too outnumbered, and thus I need to send some more troops to help, but we'll definitely be able to beat them back sooner or later. So that'll have to wait until the next episode. Unfortunately, we have made a little bit of progress this time, but not much admittedly, so we'll continue next in next episode. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment, praise, criticism, anything you feel like, and I'll see you around next time. Bye.